So in activity 3B, this is where you get to try and demonstrate your understanding of the two models, takeaway and comparison, and the use of blocks to demonstrate why those work with our standard algorithm. So I'm going to pick a new problem different than the ones already here. And then I'm going to write a story for takeaway and a story for comparison and show it with the blocks. As far as you're showing with the blocks, you can either, I recommend the Math Learning Center, and you can take screenshots of that if you want, or you could use the other one. The other one's cute too. Or you can also get a sharing URL once you're finished with it. And I like the colored version because I like to see the ones as a different color than the tens, for example. And for this, don't pick numbers in the hundreds. That just makes it harder to draw. Just stick with 2-digit numbers for this one. So we'll come back to that in a second. So again, we are working on subtraction models and algorithms. And for this activity, for the models, we're just going to do takeaway and comparison, not the other two. And for the algorithm, we're just going to do the standard renaming algorithm. And let's see, I want to pick a problem that's a little bit different than the ones that are already there, but similar. Okay, how about 33 minus 15? That's different enough. So what I want to do here, first, I'm just going to do the problem with the standard algorithm. You could do that at the end, but I'm just going to get it out of the way. I want to know what is 33, take away minus 15 compared to 15, however we want to write it. And in our standard algorithm, when we don't have enough above for the takeaway below, we do what we call as borrowing. So it's also called the borrowing algorithm. And we borrow a 10 from there to make that a 13. So we've renamed this from 33 to 20 and 13. Cool thing about that is from 13, I can now easily take away 5 and get 8. And then from 20, I can take 10 and get 1. All right, so I'm going to get 18 there. I want to show that with the blocks with a takeaway. And I want to show that again with the blocks with a comparison. The takeaway picture with the blocks looks slightly different than the comparison. So I got to come up with a story, any kind of story you want. So let's see, what's my story for part A, takeaway? It was Halloween yesterday. So Griffin had 33 chocolates. His mother took 15 away. How many does he have now or left? And so next thing we'll do is we'll show the base 10 blocks for 33, and then we'll show how to take away 15, and that takes a couple of stages. So let's try that with the toys. And again, I'm using the Math Learning Center app, and I switched at the bottom here from the single color version to the multicolor version. So first thing I had to do is show Griffin's 33, and that's zoomed out a bit far. Let's try that version. So 10, 20, 30, and then 3. And the problem I have at the moment, and this is why I want to use the physical toys, is I can't take 15 because if I try, right, this is a whole piece. I got a problem. I can't take 15. So I got to deal with that. So I'm just going to make a little note here. You can either draw this on paper or on the screen. Use my typewriter tool. I need to do a trade. So I'm just going to redo this set here. And again, this right here is my 33. So I'm just going to redo this. Let's see, I should go away pen. And you can highlight stuff by clicking on it or drawing a circle around it. I'm going to do the click and then shift click after that. No, control click. Nope, maybe it is shift click. Oh, stop it. Sometimes these toys are a blessing and a curse. There we go. So I'm just going to highlight all these to make a copy and rebuild them. Somewhere there's a duplicate button. And I don't have to do this in multiple illustrations, but I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes. And I need to trade one of these in so I can have 15 ones to take away. So let's break those up. Now they've changed color and they're separable. So at this point, I can take away 15. So I could pull out 1, 2, 3, 4. See, now it's separable. Before it wasn't. 5 and a 10. So I'm just going to make a little note here. Oh, mom took 15. Oh, I can't undo the pen because I have to erase the pen. And that leaves, I have to count them up, 10 and looks like 8 there. So now I know that 33 minus 15 equals 18. So that's the picture to go with my takeaway. So I'm going to put that in my notes. Ooh, that didn't work very well. Let's try that again. Why didn't my screenshot work? There we go. And so you could try to write this up in the app, or you could draw it on paper like I did in one of my earlier ones. So there's my part A. So then part B, I got to do a similar thing with comparison. So note on this one, I'm actually pulling away from the 33. When I do comparison, I need to upfront show 15 and 33 so I can actually compare them. Let's get a new screen. All right, so new problem. B, my problem for 33 minus 15 comparison. So you got to come up with a story. So I'm going to stick with the Halloween theme, and let's stick with Griffin. My buddy Griffin has 33 Pokemon cards. Oh, I said I was going to do Halloween, didn't I? Griffin made me think of Pokemon. He's obsessed about Pokemon. Let's go with the chocolates again, because I like chocolates better than Pokemon. And Gary has 15 chocolates. And we can either ask the question, how many more does Griffin have, or how many less does Gary have? Either way. I'm going to go with how many more. And so I'm just going to draw this one on the screen here. And I'm going to use, again, I want you to use base 10 blocks. I'm going to draw it with base 10 blocks. So first, I'll try to draw my green for Griffin. He's got 33. So how do we want to do that? We'll go we should have counted out 10. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They got a weird grouping there. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that should be 10 right there. Double check in a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And do your best to make the pictures to scale. On this particular app, unlike that other one I have to group those lines together so they stick together. I think it's that button there. So then I can just make some copies. So drawing them with this app is harder than drawing them, in my opinion, on paper. It's way easier to use that app or just draw them freehand, but my freehand with this tool is not all that great. So then we need to show 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's Griffin's. Then I got to show Gary's. Show them next here. Oops, I made too many. And then, to the best of your artistic ability, draw out the rest of them or use the app. So there's the 15. And I want to make sure I compare every one of the smaller to the larger. And when I start doing that, right, I can compare this one right here. Went off the screen there. Color between the lines. Come on, Gary. So this one right here can line up with, say, that one right there. And then this one and that one and this one and that one and this one and that one and ruh-roh. I'm stuck, so that means I have to do a trade. So I'm just going to come down here, trade 110 for 10 ones. And then I got to draw that out. So maybe I'll just draw over this. 1, 2, 3, 4, my sloppy little squares here. And then I can continue my comparison. Switch color just for the heck of it. That one and that one, that one and that one. Okay, what's left? I can see a 10 not crossed out, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so if this is Griffin here, and this is Gary here, after the trade, we can see Griffin has 18 more. So we just determined through comparison that 33 subtract 15, 33 compared to 15 is a difference of 18. So that's just a different way to think about subtraction. When I do a comparison picture, I need to show both sets. When I do a takeaway picture, I really only show the first set and then find a way to pull off, cross out the second set, but I don't really draw them separately. All right, so slightly different pictures, same conclusion. Now, how do they relate to the standard algorithm? The key there is that we had to do that trade. So just a side note here, this algorithm is justified by the need to trade 110 for 10 ones. With the base 10 blocks. Right, if we use the base 10 blocks to try and do subtraction, there's no way we can get away from trading one block in. So I'm just going to demonstrate that again with the toys and comparison. So that was my takeaway version. And again, there's a couple ways I could include that in my submission for this. I could get the shareable link to it. And the thing about the shareable link, however, though, is it's just a snapshot. It's an address that's a snapshot to what you do here. So if you change anything here after you take that snapshot with the link, it's not going to be in that snapshot of the link. Okay. So the share tool is not like Google Share. It's a snapshot. It just takes kind of a picture of this and says, oh, here's that picture as a link. Send it to whoever you want. I'll make a new one. I like to switch the colors down here at the bottom. And I need to show Griffin's 33. And it's in the big view. I like the slightly smaller view. And again, if you don't like them vertical, you could choose the horizontal ones. And once you have one on the screen, you can also rotate it to be horizontal. So you could do it any way you want. So let's do the horizontal ones and get Griffin's 30, 1, 2, 3. And then for Gary, you could show his vertically or horizontally. It's up to you. I'll stick with the horizontal theme. Gary had 15. And since 15 is 1, 10, and 5 ones, we should use the blocks as 1, 10, and 5 ones. And I like the colors to help emphasize which is which. Okay. So did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I first try to compare, so let's use the writing tool for that. And up here we have Griffin. Here we have Gary. And when I don't have my little pad to write on, I just use the text tool to type and put stuff up there. So alternatively, if you do want to include this right here, you could use the text tool, type in, if writing is too painful with your mouse or your keyboard. And then you can resize and reposition. Oh, looks like I misspelled. Click back on it to edit. So there's Griffin and back to text. We can put Gary up here too. Let's move that. I can resize it and be done. But the pen tool is nice because then I can try to make the connections. Like in my comparison here, I can match those two up. And then I can start matching maybe these three here, here, and here. But then, uh-oh, what do I do with those right there? So I have to do a trade. So can't complete. So I just want to document your journey to do this. Can't complete comparison without a trade. 110 for 10 ones. Excuse me. So I could redraw this, or I could just do the trade right here. I'm just going to do it right there this time, blow it up, and then I can continue. Oops, pen back, please. And then I can do two more like this one. So I'm just connecting my comparisons. Okay, so I've compared everything Gary has to Griffin. I can't do any more comparison, and it looks like I see 18 left. So just make a note about that. All right, so that would be an illustration similar to the other one of the Gary and Griffin comparison, 33 versus 15. So maybe I'll even write that in. And you also have, you have a little bit of control over the size. You can make it a little bit bigger if you want to emphasize something. Cool. So you are going to do the same thing. Write a story for takeaway for 47 minus and 24. Write a story for comparison for 47 minus 24. Draw base 10 blocks for each one. Do the same thing. New story for 32 minus 17 for subtraction, another one for comparison. So each of these, you're going to have 2 stories, one for takeaway, one for comparison, and 2 pictures to go with each of them. So there'll actually be 6 parts of this in the end. And it's really a good idea if there is a carry, a trade that you show the algorithm to. Like I have an example, that one there on paper versus the one I did earlier. And then I have another example here you could look at, where I do 34 minus 15 in stages, thinking about comparison. And that's linked there also.